Good morning. Here's the news at 10. First, the highlights. Elections held in local government council development areas of Lagos State. Nigerian Customs Service NAFDAC strengthened ties to tackle counterfeit drugs. On the foreign scene, United States resumes military supplies to Ukraine. And in sport, UEFA demotes Crystal Palace to Conference League as Nottingham Forest takes part. Now the details. I am Dele Agadumo. Elections are holding across the 20 local government areas and 37 local council development areas of Lagos State. Voting has commenced at polling unit 006, St. Stephen Nursery and Primary School, Adiniji Adile Road, where Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is expected to cast his vote in the ongoing local government elections holding across the state. The election is to elect chairmen and councillors into the 20 local government and 37 local council development areas of the state, organized by the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission, LASEC. Our reporter Adiola Akindele reports that accreditation and voting started as early as 8 a.m. at polling units 006 and 007, with adequate security in place. Also from Lagos Island, our reporter Adirayo Iduwolaya reports that the atmosphere is calm and orderly, with election officials and party agents arriving ahead of schedule to prepare for the day's exercise. Adirayo Iduwolaya reports that the presiding officer of polling unit 018, Simon Adegbenga, confirmed that voting officially began at 8 a.m. with the opening conducted in the presence of the lawmaker representing Lagos Island Constituency 2, Lanre Afini, who supervised the initial steps of the process. From Oshodi Solo local government area, our reporter Zainab Adibeshi reports that voting is being delayed due to the late arrival of election materials. Zainab, who visited polling units in areas like Mafuluku, Shogule and Bolade, reports that voters are waiting while security personnel are on ground to maintain order. From Ogba to Ikeja environs, our reporter Kayode Mafolashire reports that election materials were not available as at 8 a.m. From Ikorodu, our reporter Adesua Ejoyoka reports that election materials were delayed promptly and voting has commenced. Or election materials were deployed promptly and voting has commenced. As voting process gets underway across Lagos, the National Orientation Agency, NOA, has called on citizens to conduct themselves peacefully and follow due process to ensure a smooth and credible election. Speaking with our reporter, Adewale Oluboroku, during a monitoring exercise, Deputy Director of the NOA in Lagos, Abodunrin Dawodu, emphasized the need for orderliness at polling units. Dawodu advised voters to queue properly, collect their ballot papers, make their choice, and drop their votes in the designated boxes. She noted that while voters are free to remain at the polling stations to observe the counting process, they are encouraged to return home peacefully once they have cast their votes, if they do not wish to wait. Commenting on the role of the NOA and other observers, Dawodu stated that their primary mandate is to promote peace and prevent unrest at voting centers through prompt sensitization. Meanwhile, officials of the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission who spoke with our reporter said there are 2 boxes for the local government polls, which are yellow for chairmen and green for councillors. The Lagos State government has urged property developers to always obtain drainage clearance and environmental impact assessment EIA from the Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources, but for reclamation and dredging and sand filling to avert any form of disaster in future in the state. Speaking with journalists at Orange Island during an inspection tour to some areas in Lekki, Etiosa local government area, Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Tokumbo Wahab, said that the government would not condone further illegal dredging and reclamation across the state. Wahab said the EIA and drainage clearance would ensure that the reclamation does not extend beyond the drainage alignment and the discharge of stormwater does not affect the ecosystem. He said the team had to visit the Orange Island following several complaints from residents directing that the ongoing illegal dredging and reclamation must stop immediately because there are a lot of outlets that discharge into the Orange Island lagoon. Now to the rest of the stories. The Nigerian Customs Service, NCS, and the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, have committed to jointly tackle the influx of illicit pharmaceutical products and harmful substances into the country. They made the pledge when the Comptroller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, visited the Director General of NAFDAC, Moji Adeyeye, at her office in Abuja, which culminated in inaugurating a joint implementation committee aimed at enforcing the terms of a strategic memorandum of understanding MOU signed between the two agencies in 2024. The visit was a direct step forward in translating the MOU into actionable programs, with both the legal advisor to the Nigeria Customs Service, Smart Akonde, and NAFDAC representative Olakunle Olaniran present to reinforce the institutional commitment behind the move. Speaking during the visit, Adeniyi reaffirmed the customs' unwavering commitment to the collaboration, noting that the constitution of the implementation committee represents the next critical step in realizing the spirit and letter of the agreement. On her part, Adeyeye expressed satisfaction with the pace of progress, reaffirming the agency's commitment to the full implementation of the MOU. It will be recalled that the MOU was signed on November 14, 2024, during the second day of the CGC's annual conference held in Abuja, when the two agencies officially agreed to join forces against the influx of illicit pharmaceutical products and harmful substances into the country. Residents of flood plains across 20 states have started relocating following a recent warning of impending floods in the state by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency. In its July flood alert released on Monday, NIMET listed Sokoto, Lagos, Edo, Benue, Yobe, Bayelsa, Jigawa, Delta, Cross River, Kaduna, Ondo, Adamawa, and Nasarawa among the states likely to experience flash floods due to imminent heavy rainfall in the coming months. The agency urged residents in the affected areas to relocate where necessary, clear drainage channels, prepare emergency kits, turn off electricity and gas during flooding, reinforce mudslide prevention efforts, and promote community awareness. Adamawa State Governor Amadu Fintiri has imposed a 24-hour curfew on Lamod local government area with immediate effect. Chief Press Secretary to the government, Honwashi Wonosioku, in a statement said the directive followed recent violent attacks and breaches of peace in some communities within the areas. He warned that anyone or group of people found contravening the directive would be arrested and dealt with according to the law, appealing to residents of Lamode local government area to shun rumor mongering and cooperate with security agencies to restore normalcy in the area. According to him, the government is committed to protecting lives and property as well as ensuring the safety of all citizens. Now to foreign news. The United States has resumed military supplies to Ukraine after Washington halted some shipments of critical arms last week. US President Donald Trump on Thursday said he had made a deal with NATO for the US to send Patriot air defense systems to Ukraine via the alliance after a surge of Russian aerial attacks. Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky has raised concerns about the impact the pause would have on Ukraine's defenses, with supplies of Patriot systems and precision artillery shells among the armaments reported to have been stopped. Russia has stepped up drone and missile attacks on Ukraine cities in recent weeks, causing record civilian casualties. In the wake of these attacks, Zelensky requested 10 Patriot systems. Patriot batteries detect and intercept oncoming missiles and are regarded as one of the world's best air defense systems. Now, sport. UEFA has demoted FA Cup champions Crystal Palace to the Conference League, with Nottingham Forest to take their Europa League slot. According to UEFA, Palace was sanctioned after breaching its rules on multi-club ownership. The rule states that clubs with the same owner are barred from competing in the same UEFA competition if an individual or ownership group is considered to have a decisive influence over more than one of those teams. Nottingham Forest is expected to replace Crystal Palace in the tournament, although the Court of Arbitration for Sport is yet to decide. John Textor, Crystal Palace's largest shareholder and the owner of Lyon, had till March 1 to resolve the multi-club ownership issues. Textor recently agreed to a deal to sell his Palace shares to US billionaire Woody Johnson, but the move has not been completed and was deemed to have come too late. And that was the news at 10. Just before we go, slow down at road junctions, intersections and pedestrian crossings. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs live on YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. Visit our website on www.trafficradio961.ng. You can also listen to Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM live on My Lagos app for timely updates. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration introduced the Lagos Economic Acceleration Program, LEAP, to reduce the effect of COVID-19 pandemic on small businesses? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, try the highlights of the major stories. Elections are holding across the 20 local government areas and 37 local council development areas of Lagos State. The Nigerian Customs Service (NCS) and the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) have committed to jointly tackle the influx of illicit pharmaceutical products and harmful substances into the country. We also told you that the United States has resumed military supplies to Ukraine after Washington halted some shipments of critical arms last week. And in sport, UEFA has demoted FA Cup champions Crystal Palace to the Conference League, with Nottingham Forest to take their Europa League slot. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. And this news broadcast compiled by Abiola Fagbolagu. I am Dele Agadumo. Good morning. Thank you for listening.